For 3,000 years, the galaxy lived in peace. Planets traded, ships traveled without fear, and even old enemies had turned into allies. The great alien empires believed war was gone forever. They told their children that peace was natural. They told themselves that no one would ever fight again. But under the surface, cracks were forming. Some alien races felt they had grown too weak in peace. They whispered that strength was fading. They feared the old fire of war had died. And in secret, they began to build fleets once again. When the day came, it was sudden. The council of alien leaders gathered in their shining palace on the core world. In front of billions, they broke the ancient treaty. Their voices thundered. Across every star system, the age of peace is over. From this day forward, we return to war. The galaxy shook. Cities fell silent. Markets froze. Families watched in fear as alien warships lit up the skies of peaceful colonies. The long, calm age had ended. The first attacks came quick. Alien armadas moved like shadows, striking weak border planets. Colonies burned. Space stations exploded. Millions screamed, wondering why peace had shattered so fast. But the greatest question was not why. It was, how would humanity react? The aliens believed humans had grown soft in peace. They thought humans had forgotten the old wars of Earth. They thought humans were just merchants, explorers, and diplomats now, weak and unready. But when alien broadcasts reached human worlds, when war was declared, the response shocked the galaxy. Humans did not cry out in fear. They did not beg for help. They did not hide. Instead, they smiled. In the streets of human cities, men and women looked at the skies with calm eyes. Old veterans whispered. At last, soldiers sharpened their weapons. Engineers powered up ancient machines long kept in silence. Families held each other not with despair but with fire. The alien empires did not understand. To them, war was a nightmare returned. To humans, war was an old companion. War was survival. War was in their history, in their blood, in their memory. For 3,000 years of peace, humans had not been idle. While the galaxy dreamed, humanity remembered. They studied their past. Plagues, famines, endless wars on Earth. Battles in space against pirates and rogue AI. They knew peace was fragile. They knew one day it would break. So they prepared quietly, secretly, patiently. While others grew soft, humanity trained. While others forgot the art of war, humanity sharpened it. And now the galaxy would learn a truth it had forgotten. Peace was never given by the aliens. Peace was allowed by the humans. On that first day, as alien fleets began their invasion, human leaders gathered. Their generals did not panic. Their admirals did not tremble. Across every human colony, a single order was given. Stand ready. Deep. In the asteroid belts, old ships hidden in silence began to wake. Engines roared after centuries of stillness. Soldiers opened ancient armories filled with weapons no alien had ever seen. Young recruits smiled as they stepped forward, ready to prove themselves. The aliens thought humans would break. Instead, they found them waiting. In one colony, on the rim, alien cruisers descended from the sky. Their commanders expected surrender. They expected humans to kneel. But when the first alien soldier set foot on the ground, a strange sound filled the air. Laughter. The humans were laughing. Even as bombs fell, even as the enemy advanced. They laughed, not from joy, but from something deeper, a spirit that refused to die. Across the stars, alien leaders watched the broadcasts in confusion. Why do they smile? One asked. Do they not understand they are facing extinction? But they did understand, and that was the true terror. The shattered peace had awakened something far older, far stronger. Humanity had been waiting for this day, and now the galaxy would see what it meant when humans smiled in the face of war. For the first time in 3,000 years, the galaxy trembled, not because peace was broken, but because humanity had been underestimated. And as the first battles began, one truth spread like fire through every star system. The aliens had declared war, but the humans had been ready all along. The smile of humanity was not a sign of weakness. It was a warning, a promise that the war had only just begun. The galaxy had forgotten what humans truly were. For 3,000 years, the memory of their old wars had faded. To the young alien races. Humans were just explorers, traders and storytellers. They were known as builders of colonies, makers of treaties, and bringers of culture. But history is not so easily erased. On Earth, in the ruins of ancient battlefields, humans still told stories. They remembered their world wars when nations clashed with fire and steel. They remembered the age of space piracy, when fragile colonies were defended by brave men and women. They remembered the wars against rogue machines, against creatures that rose from the void. They carried those memories not as scars, but as lessons. While the galaxy lived in peace, humans trained quietly. In academies hidden under mountains, soldiers practiced old strategies. In orbital stations, engineers tested weapons that were never shown. In simulation domes, young recruits learned how to fight wars that had not yet begun. The alien empires did not see this. To them, peace meant disarmament. They threw away their fleets, they shut down their forges, they told their citizens war was extinct, and for 3,000 years, it seemed true. But humanity never trusted peace completely. They smiled and agreed with the treaties, yet in secret, they remembered their past. War will come again, the elders whispered to their children, and when it does, we must be ready. One alien historian once said, "Humans are strange. They prepare for storms even under clear skies." Few listened, fewer believed. And now the galaxy would learn how true those words were. When the aliens declared war, they thought humans would collapse. Instead, ancient archives opened. Maps of old battle formations were studied again. Commanders pulled dusty manuals from shelves, manuals written by warriors long dead. Soldiers quoted old generals as if they were alive. And still, the question spread. Why did humans smile when the war began? The answer lay in their history. For to them, war was not just pain. It was survival. Humanity had crawled through darkness so many times that fear no longer ruled them. Generations had grown up on stories of resistance, from Earth's great cities that once burned and rebuilt, to colonies that fought off impossible odds. Humans believed that survival was their destiny. No matter how powerful the enemy, no matter how hopeless the battle, they found a way. Now the aliens faced that legacy. On Mars, an old general stood before his troops. His voice was steady. "They think peace made us weak. They are wrong. Peace only gave us time." The soldiers cheered, not with wild excitement, but with steady resolve. In the outer colonies, young farmers turned into fighters overnight. They wore no uniforms, yet they stood ready. They had grown up with weapons beside their harvest tools, waiting for the day when the galaxy would forget. And now that day had come. Even on Earth, among glittering towers and shining skies, the spirit of war awoke. Factories shifted from trade goods to weapons. Ships once used for exploration were refitted for battle. And in every corner of human space, a single phrase echoed. Remember who we are. The aliens had forgotten, but the humans had not. First alien fleets soon discovered this truth. They attacked human colonies expecting surrender. Instead, they were met with traps older than the invaders themselves, ambushes in asteroid fields, mines hidden in orbit, strategies that had not been used for centuries, but were still alive in human memory. For the galaxy, 3,000 years of peace had been an age of sleep. But for humans, it was training, preparation, patience, and now, as alien commanders watched their fleets crumble against forces they thought were weak, fear spread. What have we awakened? They asked each other. The answer was simple. They had awakened history because humans had never forgotten. Humans had never surrendered to peace. They smiled not because war was easy, but because they had been waiting for it, and as the battles spread, one truth grew stronger each day. The galaxy thought they were fighting the humans of peace, but in reality, they were facing the humans of history. The humans who had survived everything. The forgotten history was no longer forgotten. It lived again, burning bright in every human soldier's eyes. And the galaxy, which once thought itself strong, now began to tremble, for it was only the beginning. The first alien strike came fast, faster than most human colonies could even prepare. A fleet of warships appeared in the skies of a frontier world called Ardent Prime. The aliens believed it would be easy. One swift attack, one burning colony, and humanity would bow in fear. The alien commander, a proud general of the Krell Dominion, stood on the bridge of his massive battleship. He looked down at the green fields and shining cities of Ardent Prime with cold eyes. "These humans will kneel," he told his officers. "They have forgotten war. They cannot resist us." But on the ground things were different. The people of Ardent Prime had heard the declaration of war just hours before. Instead of panic, there was strange calm. Farmers laid down their tools and picked up rifles. Engineers left their machines and ran to the defense bunkers. Old veterans, with scars on their faces, opened secret armories long hidden beneath their homes. When the alien fleet descended, expecting silence and surrender, they were met with the fire of human guns. The skies lit up with missiles launched from hidden silos. The first alien transport ships were torn apart before they could even land. The alien general snarled, "Fools, they dare resist the Dominion?" He ordered a full assault. Dozens of ships unleashed beams of destruction. Cities shook under the bombardment. Towers fell, and fire spread across the horizon. But in the chaos, humans fought back with a spirit the aliens could not understand. Children were rushed to underground shelters, while mothers and fathers stood with weapons in hand. Civilian ships meant for trade and mining were turned into weapons of war. They rammed into alien cruisers, sacrificing themselves so others could live. Above the planet, the first human defense fleet arrived. Old ships, scarred and outdated, yet filled with determination. They opened fire with weapons the aliens thought obsolete. But every blast was precise, every move was planned. The humans fought not with fear, but with memory. The alien general laughed at first. "These are relics," he said. "Their ships are weak, their weapons ancient." Yet his smile faded. When one of his battleships exploded in a sudden ambush, hidden in the asteroid belt around Ardent Prime, human strike craft swarmed, small, fast, and fearless. They cut through the alien formation like knives. The general shouted in anger, "Impossible! How can they fight like this?" His officers trembled. They had never seen such stubbornness, such raw defiance. On the ground, a group of human soldiers made their last stand near the central city. Surrounded, outnumbered, their commander stood tall. His voice rang out. "Remember Earth, remember Mars, remember who we are." The soldiers cheered. Even as fire rained around them, they smiled, knowing death was near, but also knowing they were not alone. For in the distance, the sky began to glow. A massive human dreadnought, silent for centuries, emerged from hyperspace. Its hull was old, its scars deep, but its cannons roared like thunder. One by one, alien cruisers fell under its fire. The alien general's heart sank. He had believed humanity was weak, but now he saw the truth. These humans had been waiting for this moment, preparing for it, smiling at it. Even in defeat, humans laughed. Soldiers cracked jokes in the trenches. Pilots sang old war songs as they charged. Civilians held the line with fire in their eyes. To the aliens, it was madness. To the humans, it was survival. Hours passed and the battle raged. By the end, Ardent Prime was scarred but not broken. The alien fleet limped away, their ships burning, their pride shattered. The general who had once promised easy victory now carried fear in his heart. Across the galaxy, the news spread like fire. The humans had faced the first strike, and they had not fallen. They had smiled, they had fought, and they had bled. But they had not surrendered. In alien war councils, whispers began, "What are these humans? Why do they resist when all others would kneel? Why do they smile when war comes?" The answer was simple, though few understood it. For humanity, war was not an end. It was a beginning. And as the smoke cleared over Ardent Prime, the human commander looked to the stars, his voice calm, his face steady. "This was only the first strike. Let them come. We are ready." The message spread to every human colony. Every soldier, every citizen heard it. Humanity was not broken. Humanity was rising, and somewhere deep in the galaxy, Alien leaders trembled, realizing the truth. They had awakened something they could never put back to sleep. The war councils of the galaxy were in chaos. Alien leaders shouted at each other, blaming their generals, blaming their fleets. They could not understand how the humans had resisted the first strike. The Krell Dominion had promised easy victory, yet their fleet had returned broken, humiliated. In the center of the council chamber, a recording was played for all to see. It showed human soldiers in the ruins of Ardent Prime, bloodied, surrounded by fire, yet they were laughing. They fought with smiles on their faces, even as their cities burned. The chamber fell silent. An elder from the Sora Confederacy whispered, "Why do they smile?" No one had the answer. To the aliens, war was tragedy, war was fear and desperation. They had not fought for 3,000 years. They had forgotten what it meant. But for humans, war was different. War was not the end. It was a test. And humanity had always survived every test. In the streets of human colonies, the same smile spread, not because people enjoyed destruction, but because the fire inside them was awake again. A mother who sent her children to the shelters whispered to her husband, "We have waited long enough." A group of young recruits, no older than 20, laughed as they trained, one of them saying, "They think we are weak, they will see the you are." Alien generals tried to explain away the recordings. They are insane. They do not fear death, but deep down, they knew the truth was worse. The humans did fear death, they simply refused to let it control them. That was what the smile meant. On a distant station, a Krell officer sat alone watching the footage again and again. He could not sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw human soldiers bleeding yet grinning. He saw their pilots singing war songs as their ships exploded. He saw their commanders speaking calmly as if battle was natural. What kind of species smiles when the end comes? He asked himself. The answer sent shivers down his spine. A species that has already seen the end and survived it. Meanwhile, inside the human command, leaders did not celebrate. They did not cheer the victory of Ardent Prime. Instead, they sat in silence, smiling grimly. Their oldest general spoke. "The galaxy has made its choice. They will see now what we have kept hidden." Around the table, every human officer nodded. Deep inside hidden armories, massive war machines that had slept for centuries were being awakened. Weapons so old the galaxy thought them myths were being reforged. Fleets hidden in asteroid fields lit their engines. Soldiers prepared with calm discipline. They did not shout or boast. They only smiled. For the aliens, the smile was madness. For humans, it was tradition. A reminder passed down from one generation to the next. When the fight begins, you do not let fear show. You smile, because fear feeds your enemy, but the smile feeds your soul. The Krell Dominion launched another assault, this time against a mining colony on the edge of human space. They expected victory, but once again they saw the smile, a lone human commander, standing on the wall of the colony fortress, faced an entire alien army. His men were outnumbered, outgunned. Yet before the first shot was fired, he turned to his soldiers and grinned. They grinned back. The aliens charged, and the humans fought like fire. The battle ended in ruin, but not the way the Dominion had hoped. The humans held until reinforcements arrived, and when the Krell army retreated, they carried with them the image of those smiling defenders. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. The humans are dangerous. The humans are different. Some alien leaders wanted to stop the war, but others pushed forward, refusing to admit fear. Yet no matter how hard they tried, one thought haunted them. What did the human smile truly mean? A scholar from the Vayar species searched old human texts, digging into forgotten history. What she found chilled her. From ancient Earth to the stars, humans had always smiled in the face of danger. Warriors smiled on the battlefield. Explorers smiled on the edge of death. Even prisoners marched to execution with a grin. It was not insanity. It was defiance. She brought her findings to the council. "The smile is not weakness," she said. "It is a warning. When they smile, it means they are ready. It means they will not stop." But the council laughed at her. They dismissed it as superstition, and in doing so they sealed their fate, for the humans kept smiling on every battlefield in every defense. Even as blood was spilled, the galaxy began to learn the truth. Peace had not made humanity soft. Peace had only sharpened their teeth hidden behind a grin, and now the grin was showing again. As the 4th month of war began, alien commanders could no longer sleep peacefully. The memory of human smiles haunted them. The galaxy had wanted war, and humanity had given them their answer. Not with fear, not with surrender, but with a smile that said only one thing. You have no idea what you have started. The galaxy thought it had seen the strength of humanity at ardent prime, but the truth was far more terrifying. Humans had only shown a glimpse. For centuries, while alien empires trusted peace, humanity had prepared for war, hidden deep inside. Asteroid belts buried under barren moons and concealed within gas giants. Old fleets had slept, ships that were never registered in galactic records, weapons that were only whispered of in myths. Now, one by one, those weapons awoke. In the Sol system, the ground shook as massive hangar doors opened beneath the oceans. From the dark waters, colossal war machines rose, black metal shining under the sun. Engines roared with the fury of storms. Across the stars, listening posts caught the signals. Humanity was activating arsenals that no one believed still existed. On Titan, a base long thought abandoned lit up. Its reactors burned with power. Hundreds of warships drifted from their frozen tombs, shields glowing, weapons armed. Their designs were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Old, yes, but lethal. Each ship carried scars of forgotten battles. Yet they came alive as if waiting for this moment. Alien spies reported this to their leaders. Panic spread across the war councils. Impossible, shouted a Krell warlord. They cannot have so. Many ships hidden. But deep down they knew humans had been waiting, smiling all these years because they had never trusted peace. When the first of these fleets appeared in battle, the galaxy understood. At the mining world of Vanar 6, an alien armada of 200 ships attacked, confident of victory. But from the nearby asteroid belt emerged 3 human dreadnoughts. Each older than the Empire attacking them, the aliens laughed at their outdated design. Until the first cannon fired. A single blast ripped through an alien cruiser, cutting it in half. Another beam tore across the battlefield, disabling 4 ships at once. The human dreadnoughts did not fight like relics. They fought like gods awakened. Alien commanders screamed orders, but their fleets fell apart. Human strike craft swarmed from hidden bays, piloted by men and women who laughed in the face of death. They cut through the enemy like fire through dry grass. One alien officer watching the battle whispered, in horror, "These are not weapons of a weak people, these are weapons of conquerors." The truth could no longer be denied. Peace had not tamed humanity. Peace had only given them time to sharpen their claws. In human command centers, leaders spoke quietly, their eyes cold, their smiles grim. They thought we forgot, but we remembered. They thought we were weak, but we were preparing. Everywhere across human space, more hidden fleets activated. Massive factories that had lain silent began to produce weapons at terrifying speed. Civilian industries shifted overnight into war machines, and yet through it all, humans did not boast, they only smiled. For the aliens, the smile had become a nightmare. Every time they saw it, it meant destruction was near. The Krell Dominion launched their largest offensive yet. A fleet so vast it covered the skies of 3 colonies. Their general promised victory. We will crush them before they unleash more. But when his fleet arrived, they found themselves ambushed. Human fleets hidden in gas giant clouds struck from behind. War machines rose from moons they thought uninhabited. Mines placed decades ago detonated, tearing through cruisers, and through it all human voices filled the comms. Not screams, not cries, but calm laughter. The general's fleet broke, and once again, humanity stood unshaken. The war councils of the galaxy fell into fear. One alien leader pounded the table. We have awakened a predator, and it is smiling at us. Yet it was too late. Humanity's power was no longer hidden. The galaxy could now see what had always been there, a force patient, enduring, and unbreakable. On Earth, the oldest general stood before a crowd of soldiers. His words were carried across every human world. For 3,000 years they forgot who we are. They believed peace was weakness. But peace only gave us time. Now the galaxy will remember. The soldiers roared with approval, their faces glowing with determination. And in the silence that followed, the general smiled. The soldiers smiled with him. Across the galaxy, spies carried that image back to their masters, and alien leaders trembled. For the unleashed power of humanity was not only in weapons and fleets, it was in spirit, in unity, in the smile that promised they would never stop. The galaxy had declared war on humans, but now, for the first time, the galaxy began to regret. The galaxy finally understood the truth. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not soft. Humanity was the storm they had feared in legends, and now, no matter how many fleets they built, no matter how many armies they sent, the tide of war was turning against them. The alien empires tried to unite. Old enemies set aside hatred. Ancient rivals clasped hands. The Krell Dominion, the Sora Confederacy, the Vayar clans, and dozens more, all joined into one vast coalition. Never before had the galaxy seen such a force. Their fleets darkened the stars, their armies numbered in the billions. They believed unity would save them, but they had forgotten something. Humans had always fought against greater numbers. Humans had always survived against impossible odds. When the coalition launched its greatest offensive, it was meant to crush human resistance once and for all. Thousands of ships descended upon 3 human colonies at once. The sky burned with alien fire. The ground shook with their bombardment. Entire continents trembled under the assault, yet the humans did not falter. On the colony of Brantor's Reach, a young commander stood before his troops. His face was scarred, his armor dented, but his eyes were steady. "They think numbers will save them," he said calmly. "They have forgotten. One human is never alone." His soldiers smiled, lifting their weapons. When the alien armies landed, the humans struck with fury. Trenches erupted with gunfire. Hidden cannons rose from the soil. Civilian miners charged with explosives strapped to their chests. Pilots flew broken ships patched with scrap. Yet they tore apart sleek alien fighters with reckless courage. The aliens were stunned. They expected fear. They expected surrender. Instead, they saw the smile again. Above Brantor's Reach, the greatest space battle of the war unfolded. The alien fleet outnumbered the humans 5-1. Their cruisers gleamed with advanced technology. Their carriers swarmed with fighters, but the humans did not retreat. Hidden within the rings of a nearby planet, human warships emerged like ghosts. Their cannons tore into the enemy flanks. Mines hidden in the asteroid fields detonated, ripping through the coalition lines. Human strike craft darted like wolves. Among helpless prey, the coalition's command ship shook under the fury of the assault. The alien admiral roared, "How are they doing this? They are only one race against the galaxy." His officers had no answer. Only fear. Because the truth was clear now. The humans were not fighting to survive. They were fighting to teach. Every battle was a reminder to the galaxy of who they really were. On another front, the colony of Vales End was nearly lost. Alien troops surrounded the city, cutting off food and power. Families hid in the ruins, waiting for the end. But then, in the middle of the night, the sky lit up. A human relief fleet had arrived. Ships painted black, moving like shadows. They struck with terrifying precision. Silent missiles destroyed alien supply lines. Stealth bombers tore apart enemy camps. And as the humans charged into the city, the people rose with them. Farmers, workers, children, all fighting side by side. The coalition forces broke, fleeing in terror from civilians who refused to die quietly. Everywhere the story was the same. The aliens had numbers, but humans had will. The aliens had weapons, but humans had memory. The aliens had fear, but humans had the smile. Soon, even, alien soldiers began to whisper among themselves, "How do you fight an enemy who smiles when they bleed?" Weeks turned into months, and the galaxy began to see the shift. Battles once thought impossible were being won. Colonies once thought doomed were holding the line. Human fleets were no longer hiding. They were advancing, pushing into enemy space, and with every victory, the human smile spread further. The Coalition Council grew desperate. Their leaders shouted in fear, "If we do not end this war now, they will destroy us all." But no matter how many plans they made, no matter how many fleets they built, the tide was already turning. Because the humans were not just defending, they were learning. Every battle, every strike, every loss taught them how to fight better, stronger, faster, and the aliens could not keep up. On the battlefield of Cora 7, an alien captain faced a captured human soldier. The man was wounded, bleeding, yet still smiling. The captain shouted, "Why do you grin, human? You are defeated. You are dying." The soldier's eyes burned with fire, and he whispered, "I smile because this is not my end, it is yours." Hours later, the human reinforcements arrived, and the alien captain learned the truth. The turning tide was unstoppable. Humanity was no longer on the defensive. Humanity was taking the war into alien space. And for the first time in millennia, the galaxy understood what it meant to face a predator. The aliens had wanted war. They had declared it proudly. But now, as their fleets shattered and their armies fled, they realized the cost. The tide had turned, and humanity was rising like a storm that no one could stop. The war ended not with the destruction of humanity, but with the collapse of the alien coalition. For months, the galaxy had thrown everything it had at the humans, fleets larger than suns, armies greater than storms. Yet everywhere they struck, the humans resisted, smiled, and pushed back harder. Now the coalition was broken, its fleets scattered, its armies in retreat. Alien leaders who once declared war with pride now begged for truce. They sent envoys across the stars, desperate for mercy. On the human side, victory was clear. The once hidden fleets now patrolled openly. Human colonies stood strong, scarred but unbroken. And for the first time in 3,000 years, the galaxy understood what had kept peace alive all this time. It was not treaties, it was not councils, it was humanity. Silently guarding, silently smiling, the alien leaders gathered for peace talks. Their voices trembled as they faced the human representatives. They expected anger. They expected demands for surrender. They feared the humans would enslave them or destroy their worlds as revenge, but the humans did none of those things. At the center of the hall stood an old human general. His armor was scarred, his face lined with age, his eyes calm. He looked at the galaxy's most powerful rulers, the same rulers who had declared war, and he smiled. That smile chilled them more than any weapon. The general spoke slowly, every word carrying across the chamber. "You thought peace had made us weak, you thought we had forgotten war, but we remembered, we always remembered. We allowed peace because peace gave us time, but make no mistake, peace was never yours to give. It was ours to allow." The aliens shifted nervously. Their claws, their wings, their trembling hands showed their fear. The general's smile did not fade. "You declared war, and you learned what it means when humanity smiles. We do not smile from joy. We do not smile from madness. We smile because war does not break us. It awakens us. And when humanity awakens, there is nothing in this galaxy that can stop us." The chamber fell silent. No alien dared to speak. They knew these words were not a boast. They were truth. The general continued, "We will not enslave you. We will not burn your worlds. We are not conquerors. But hear this. Never again mistake our silence for weakness. Never again mistake our patience for fear. If you threaten our people, if you threaten our worlds, we will smile again. And when we smile, remember what it means." A ripple of dread passed through the alien rulers. They nodded quickly, swearing peace, swearing loyalty, swearing never to test humanity again. The war was over, but the lesson had only just begun. Across the galaxy, stories spread, stories of human soldiers who laughed as they fought, of human pilots who sang as their ships exploded, of human civilians who turned into warriors overnight. And above all, stories of the human smile, terrifying, unbreakable, unforgettable. In alien academies, children were taught never to underestimate the humans. In alien markets, merchants whispered of the day Humanity smiled, and the galaxy trembled. And in alien dreams, leaders woke in fear, seeing that smile in the darkness back on Earth. The humans returned to their lives, they rebuilt their cities, they buried their dead, and they stood under their blue skies once more. Families laughed together, children played, and the scars of war slowly healed, yet deep inside, everyone knew the truth. Humanity had reminded the galaxy who they were. Peace returned, fragile as always. But this time, it was different. This time, the galaxy understood why peace had lasted 3,000 years before. It was not because aliens had chosen it. It was because humans had allowed it. And now no one would ever forget. As the old general stood on Earth's capital balcony looking at the stars, he whispered words that echoed across every human world. Let them remember. Let them always remember. The day the aliens declared war and humanity smiled. From that day forward, the human smile was not just a sign. It was a warning, a promise, a legend, and the galaxy would never dare test it again.